What's up, you beautiful chuds? Welcome to the Let's Talk Horror channel. Welcome to the Creepzone, and welcome to my new side series, Tales from the Creepzone. What the absolute F is Tales from the Creepzone? Well, like I said, it's my new side series because some of you may, or some of you may not know, that Shudder, the streaming service, have recently uploaded or are beginning to upload every season of Tales from the Crypt. Now, I did do an announcement video, but if you didn't see that, well, I'm going to explain a little bit about what this series is going to be. I will be going through every season of Tales from the Crypt, all 7 seasons, and I will be going through them episode by episode. Of course, starting with season 1 and going onwards. At the moment in the UK, I think it's season 1. I think even season 2 is uploaded now, and then I'm pretty sure by June the 12th, we should have every season of Tales from the Crypt. And the other reason that I'm doing this is not just obviously, I love Tales from the Crypt. I really, truly do. As I said in my announcement video, as I've spoken about for years doing this podcast and the channel and everything and all the videos that I do, I love Tales from the Crypt. It is something that is something that really truly started me on my journey through horror as a kid. The iconography of Tales from the Crypt, the Crypt Keeper, John Cassie's voice, the Danny Elfman score, everything about Tales from the Crypt, even Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, is a big, big thing to me. And as I said, it is something that really started me on my journey through horror. Now, of course, I was super excited to know and to find out and to finally see that Shudder are putting on Tales from the Crypt series on their streaming platform. And I couldn't be more excited. But I thought, do you know what? Rather than me just do what I was going to do anyway, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch all these. Why not bring you along on the journey? And that's what I'm saying about what I'm doing. And that is exactly where I will be going through every episode with you and talking about what I think about it. I will be ranking the episodes as well individually. And obviously at the end of it, you'll get to know what my favourite episode of the season is. With season 1, it's a little bit different. There's only 6 episodes. With season 2, I think there's like 18 episodes. Like, it jumps up massively. So the way that I'm thinking about doing this is that I'm going to be doing 3 episodes of the series per episode of Tales from the Creepzone. And then we will keep going through that. And then when we get to the end of the season, of course, you'll get my overall, like I mentioned, you'll get my overall favorite episode of that season. But I can't wait to go through this journey. Of course, I've already watched some because I'm going to be talking about some on here. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to start talking about the first 3 episodes of season 1 from Tales from the Crypt. Let's get into it. So season 1, episode 1, The Man Who Was Death. This one is a real shocker. I'm not going to do any impressions of the Crypt Keeper. I can't make any promises that I won't, but they're going to be awful. When I was a kid, I was actually quite good at doing it, but now I'm an old man. I just can't do anything that I used to. So it wouldn't be fair to you, and it wouldn't be fair to John Cassid for me to try and do the impression. But as I said, this one's a real shocker. This is, of course, the first episode of the first season, and you really do go off to the races with this. Of course, this is starring William, or as it says on the title credits on this one at the start, Bill Sadler. Of course, we will know him from all the other Tales from the Crypt movies, Demon Knight, Bordello of Blood. Of course, he was Death. He played the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It's William Sadler. We know who he is. He's great, and he is really, truly great in this. What I love about this episode straight away is that it really sets up this show to be so different to everything really that was around them, because it really took hold of the fact that it was a TV series. Like, these episodes are like 20 something minutes, and they are the perfect runtime. This episode being an example of that, and then obviously every episode really feels like an example of that. But obviously, if there are any episodes that aren't necessarily as good, you'll know about it because I'm going to talk about it. But I love the fact that, immediately we're breaking the fourth wall in this episode. William Sadler he's there talking to us, or Bill Sadler, I should say. I don't know. I'll say either one. I'll say what I want. But either way, he is there breaking the fourth wall. He's so good in this. There's so many great lines. The writing in this episode, as it is with so much of Tales from the Crypt, but this episode, the writing in it, the dialogue, the way Sadler is representing that dialogue to us, the way that he's saying it, the conviction that he has when he's saying it. You know, he fully believes in what he's saying and what it is he's doing, and so on like that. Like I love him in this. William Sadler is fantastic anyway, but when you get him in this sort of role, and he's somebody that can really handle, you know, the constant dialogue and keep you entertained and keep you hooked on every word that he says. Like, as I said, it's such a great episode to start off with, because you get some of the story. Of course, he is somebody that's playing one, you know, the person. Why can't I think of the electrocutioner? That's not even a word. But the person that's flipping the switch, so you can, so you know, when they're in the death chair, they get the death penalty and they get the electrocution chair. I don't know why I can't think of it right now, but this is what the series is going to be. It's going to be loads of me being a moron. And the fact that you know, William Sadler at some point goes, "I like electricity," that makes me laugh. It's just a great line when he's looking deadpan to the camera. He's like, "I like electricity," but it's so good. But he is, yeah, well, you know, the person that switches it. They end up firing him. He obviously loves his job. They end up firing him, so then he ends up going around killing people that he thinks are wrongdoers, are doing wrong things. And it's one of those things as well. It's interesting because obviously it's very well written. It's very dark humor, as much as, you know, Tales from the Crypt is. You know, it still always keeps that fantastic dark sense of humor that is so much fun. Great storytelling. But I love the fact that it's like the morality thing, you know, where it's very much like, is he wrong for doing what he's doing? Is he right for doing what he's doing? And you can sort of like sit on the fence, but then ultimately, like, he is like killing people, so it is wrong, you know. So it's the morality side of it as well. But they handle it really well. I love the fact that, once again, like, as soon as you switch this on, like, you know, as I said, I've loved Tales from the Crypt my whole life, and when you watch this, even from the first frame, from the first like episode, when you watch it, when you finish watching it, you sit there and you go, like, man, like, why are they not making stuff like this anymore? And I'm not just talking about when it comes to like the story and the structure and, you know, anything like that. I'm just talking about, like, even on a technical journey. Like, this looks so good, and it's so creatively shot, and it's just so much fun. Like, everything just gels together in this episode and so many episodes throughout the series that obviously we're going to go on a journey together, like I said. But I absolutely love this first episode. I think it's a great sort of like indication of going, like, if this is the first episode, man, like, what a ride we're on. Sadler's great. I love the writing. You know, of course, we get the deaths, and they're like, you know, just fucking wild, just like the series. So I did say that we were going to every episode I'm going to rank, and we're going to do it. We're going to give you the creepy cackles ranking system. That's what I'm going to do after, of course, the creepy, you know, crazy laugh that the Crypt Keeper gives out. And out of 5, I will give this one 5. Now, of course, this is my ranking. Like, it doesn't have to be yours. There might be people out there who watch this episode and go, I don't even like this episode, but I do, because for me, that's somebody that loves story and structure and performance, and also understanding how difficult it is to make something that's, say, like 20 something minutes long, but be able to feel like it's a complete piece, for it to go from start, middle, and end. I think the pace of this, and the creativeness and the uniqueness of this, works so well, and how well it's written and everything. So yeah, so this episode for me is 5 out of 5 creepy cackles. Let's move on to episode 2. So episode 2 of season 1 is an iconic one. It is one of the episodes that sort of always pops up on a lot of people's feeds. Like, the iconography of a character from this and everything that sort of happens. And also, for me, there is a bit of iconography as well for me and my horror journey and what I remember, which I'll talk about a little bit. But this episode is And All Through the House. On this episode, you get a murderous wife kills her husband on Christmas Eve for his insurance money, only to be terrorized by an escaped mental patient dressed as Santa Claus, which, when I talk about iconography, is right here. So this is the original Fangoria magazine. Unfortunately, it's not my one that I had as a kid, but my partner, being the legend that she is, she knew that this was an episode because an issue of the Fangoria that I had when I was a kid. Of course, I had a lot of them, but this was one that I always spoke about because I was always talking about Tales from the Crypt, and she managed to get that one off somewhere for me, but it's fucking rad that I've got it. But I've said this many a times as well, that Fangoria magazines, when I was a kid, I used to have to basically go and take them, steal them from newsagents, and because I was too young, they wouldn't let me have them, so I would just basically take them from newsagents, and I would pick them up as well at boot sales. It was around the time, Blockbuster and magazines and like boot fairs and stuff like that, getting VHS and magazines from boot fairs. Like that was our learning, that was our library of horror, because I'm an old man, this was way before the internet. So magazines and, as I said, and Blockbuster and everything was so important to us, and that's why things like Tales from the Crypt is so important to me, because of the pure iconography and the nostalgia I have for it. And this episode is obviously one of those episodes that does that for quite a lot of people. What I love about this episode is that it is essentially just a very short slasher movie in like 20 something minutes, and it's so good. You get everything that Tales from the Crypt is going to offer you in this. But once again, and what's great is that it is different from the first episode. One of the things that's great about this episode, and also something that I forgot to mention in the first episode as well, is once again, like Tales from the Crypt, it just has all these great twists and turns, and it's so well written. This episode, we have one which I'll go into, but the first episode also has it as well, where he essentially, what he's doing to other people ends up happening to him, and Tales from the Crypt is so good at writing those twisted, dark, twists and turns for the ending of these episodes. But also, right at the start, before we even get into the episode, of course, the Crypt Keeper himself, he introduces every episode. And I don't know if you're the same as me, but that Santa mask that he's wearing is pure nightmare fuel. Like, it literally it feels like they've taken Santa's face, skin off his face, and then just put it on the decaying corpse of what the Crypt Keeper is. It's terrifying. But I also love the fact that on this episode, we open immediately with a murder, and then we get a card, basically a card saying like, "Merry Christmas, you son of a bitch," which I am adding to all of my Christmas cards. So going forward, everybody is getting "Merry Christmas, you son of a bitch" on all their Christmas cards. So thank you, Tales from the Crypt, for that. And I don't apologize to anybody for it. But once again, just like the first episode and just like the series, you have this super dark humor, and it's so sadistic, and it can be so terrifying and terrorizing and violent and brutal, but yet it's so much fun. Like, I just miss fun horror. This is so much fun that I just wish that it felt like this now, rather than the nihilistic approach that we have to everything. This is just fun. You sit there, you put it on, and you just enjoy it. Once again, it is very well shot, and it's very creative. It moves along at a very, very good pace. Once again, you just don't get bored. You just truly don't. You get pretty decent practical effects in this as well. And like I said, you get fun twists and turns, and you do get a decent ending, even though the screaming at the end of it, the classic, like when she's on the stairs screaming her head off because she essentially knows that her kid's going to die. No matter what she do, she cannot escape this mental patient who's dressed up as Santa. She just can't kill him. So now he's going to go and kill everyone, including her, her kid, and so on like that. It's a great episode, but me being somebody that loves, this is going to be one of those ones that is always like at the tops of people's like ranking for season one and something like that. But there is just something about the first episode, like once again William Sadler's performance and the way he's capturing you in his performance and in his dialogue. Like you can't take your eyes off him. I love the story, and I love the fact that he essentially gets his comeuppance and the morality side of it as well. As much as I truly love this episode, like this isn't me going like, oh, I love that one more and this one shit. It doesn't work like that. I love this episode. I love the fact that it's like a mini slasher that's so fun and creative, but there's something just about the story, the idea, the concept, and the delivery of the first episode that I like that a little bit more. So this one I will give 4 out of 5 creepy cackles. It's a great episode. I'm probably going to regret not giving it 5 out of 5. But then I'm going to have a tie for favorite episode, or I can give it 5 out of 5 and then they can tie. I don't know. I don't even know. I haven't got through the rest of this season yet. We'll see what happens. But at the moment, I'm giving it 4 out of 5 creepy cackles. Agree with me or not, I couldn't care less. But it's a great episode and so much fun. Let's get into episode 3. So episode 3 is Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. A homeless man named Ulrich, played by Joe Pantoliano, is given 9 lives via a feline gland heart transplant by a mad scientist. It doesn't seem that mad, but he's a scientist. Let's go with that. He becomes a wealthy, famous sideshow act dying for money, but his greed and misuse of his 9 lives lead to a twist ending when he runs out of chances. Once again, of course, I mean, it's already ruined it, but you would have seen it by now. But yeah, of course, once again, it's Tales from the Crypt. You get that cool twist ending. Joe Pantoliano in this one, fantastic. He's always bloody good, isn't he? Whether he's got hair or not, he's always bloody good in whatever he's in. But he's always good. And to be fair, as usual, all the performances on this are pretty spot on. There are some characters in this that might be a little bit annoying. They get a little bit frustrating with the repetition, so to speak, of this one. But everybody, once again, as they are in every episode pretty much of Tales from the Crypt, bar some maybe down the line. But he Pantoliano's great. Everybody else is great. It's a fun concept, like this, the intellectual side of writing and concept, where he gets these 9 lives, and does it always have to make like scientific sense? No. But as a story, is it fun? Like, do we want to see stories like this? Yes. That's what makes it entertaining. They're trying to make entertaining TV, and they absolutely do that. But so yeah, you've got great performances, a good idea, good concept, but maybe for this one here, because the concept is such like a vast concept, there's so much you could do with it, there's so many different places you can go. I think that the sort of like, if you're rounding it off to say a 30-minute runtime, for example, I don't know if it's a long enough runtime. Like, this is the type of thing, type of idea and concept that you can really make like an entirety of a film. Like, you can just flesh it out, work around it, make an entirety of a film. I don't know necessarily for me if this episode or this concept, this idea works as like a 30-minute TV series in an episode, because it sort of moves along in pace. And then there are moments, there's something about this that feels a little bit repetitive, but it never necessarily feels like every moment that I enjoy as much as what I'm seeing. Remember, I enjoy the episode. That's not what this is about. But when I'm talking about it, potentially is in, it might not be as good as something else. That's because I've got to rank them, and I'm going to rank them at the end of it and stuff. So not everything can be like a 5 creepy cackle out of 5. But that doesn't mean that the episodes are rubbish. There might be some down the line that are naff, but this one is not a rubbish episode. But I think that for this one, for me, I think the idea, the concept is too big for say, as I said, round it off to a 30-minute sort of episode. There's a bit with the mortician that absolutely shitting himself. That's brilliant. We get a really funny reaction out of the fact that when he comes alive, and and it's been a great success. The scientist that does the performance experiment absolutely shits himself. But once again, it's good writing, it's good performances, and it's shot well, good practical effects, and then you get the brilliant twist ending. But as a whole, you know, like if you're going like, which one do you prefer the most, or which one do you prefer least, so to speak, out of the ones that there have been so far, this is my least favorite out of all of them. Once again, it doesn't mean that I'm saying that it's not good. I'm just saying that I don't think it's as good as the previous two. So that's why this one gets 3 creepy cackles out of 5. So that's the first 3 episodes. That's how I feel about them. As I said, I don't want to make these episodes massively long. That's not what we're there for. And also, the episodes themselves aren't massively long, which is fucking great. Like, that's what makes them even better. The fact that we get between 20 and 30 minutes of just pure great tales from the crypt, dark, sadistic, brutal humor. But every episode is different. Every episode is written so well and performed well and is so creative and so fun. That's why I'm so much looking forward to going through all the rest of these. So, of course, as I said at the start, season 1 has got 6 episodes. So the next episode that I do of this will have the remaining 3 episodes, and then of course you'll get my overall ranking in regards to what my favorite episode of season 1 is. And then we move on to season 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then so on. We keep going as long as you want me to. Well, actually, that doesn't matter. I'm going to keep doing it whether you want me to or not. But I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you will just keep joining me on my journey through Tales from the Crypt. Like I said, I'm going to watch them all anyway. So why not do some videos where I share my thoughts on with you? But also, I want to try and make this as interactive as I possibly can. So please do get in the comments on this YouTube channel. As I said on the announcement video as well, these episodes will go to Patreon first and then go on YouTube. So if you do like this and you want to keep, getting the episodes early, you can go onto our Patreon. Just go to patreon.com, search for the Let's Talk Horror channel. You'll get the episode a bit earlier, and then you can be ahead of everybody else and blag about it to everyone. Not that you will, but you can if you want to, because you would have done it. You would have seen it earlier than everybody else, which is absolutely brilliant for everyone. But if you don't want to do Patreon, well, then you just wait and it'll come on YouTube. But as I said, we're going to go through every episode of every season. I'm going to have so much fun doing it, and I hope that you have fun with me and you enjoy these episodes. But until next time, until the next Tales, it's not even that, until the next Tales from the Creepzone episode, stay creepy, fuckers.